But yeah, you can
kind
think
of
anything you want.
value. There's definitely value in individual thoughts, right?
Hmm.
Because I think as everything is pretty much a spectrum, right? From this side to this side, you have all these ranges. And in terms of individual thoughts, yes, if you don't correlate that with a larger consensus, then you could just be crazy. Okay, you can have some weird whatever thoughts, and you could be just crazy because that's not. First of all, that maybe that thought is both not actionable and also just does not make any sense, right?
Yeah, it's
So
literally exists as a form of delusion, schizophrenia. Those people are completely convinced that's like this. I discovered new math, the new math system,
you're right.
and it's in their head. It makes some kind of sense, but if they try to explain it to anybody, it's just zero sense. It's just kind of connection. There's no connection between bits of information. It's just all
Yeah.
randomness.
So in terms of not just human thoughts, but like almost in everything, there's a range, and then there is also we need to find that the best range, right? The most not just practical, but also the most beneficial because on either side of it, you have crazies or you have just information that are not they're so out of the norm. There's the bell curve, right? The idea of the
Hmm.
bell curve is like all the common occurrences are going to be in the high, on the bell side, and then the two sides are both extremes. So not just, I mean, if when you talk about life in general, like we live in this kind of Goldilocks zone of of parameters, right? We require a certain temperature range. We require certain, I don't know, like a certain amount of people. Like, what's the name of that? Like, you can only communicate with 150
But
people
yeah,
in your whole life.
Dunbar's number or something like that.
I think something like that. Yeah. So, there's all this range that you have to find, okay, what's that best for your situation? But the other point I want to come back to is that there is value in individual thoughts because you have something unique to offer, but it has to be predicated on if that you do have to have peer review in a way, right? That other people need to be able to say, oh, this is some unique idea. I like this. We need to celebrate the fact that it's unique. If some thing to make other people think, and you do need the response from another party for it to validate it. Otherwise, it's just, sure, it's unique, but it does not make any sense because nobody else can cogitate what does that even mean, right? So it's like just like there are so many books in the library, like we have this collective knowledge and thought that humans have come around with, right? And then constantly we are renewing and reviewing all these information, whether that's just stuff you read on nonfiction or even in fictions. Like, like other people write fictional books, but like you can say that there is no originality anymore because all the most original thoughts have already been thought over. But we are still creative. Like you can still see so many writers creating work, so many people creating creative projects that are just unique, right?
Yeah,
Because
it's still happening.
it combines a unique view. So just as you have problem on one end if you silence individual views and just go purely by mass kind of like consumption or what's accepted by the people, quote unquote, then you have no individual thoughts. Everything is almost like people are droning on and on about the same thing, right? That's like acceptable. That's not the way to go. But if you go on the other side, if you go pure extreme, if everybody thought is legit, that's not also not how it works because some thoughts are better than others.